rich getting richer and the poor poorer?
I think I would break it in two dimensions. Number one is the habits of the rich and the habit of the poor. The two is the culture of the rich and the culture of the poor.
Okay.
The rich has a different culture and different habits. The poor has different culture and different habits.
Okay, let's break it down. Culture, okay.
Yes.
What kind of culture?
Okay, three basic things actually, but let's start with the first one, which is everybody's thinking about that now. Maybe because of the current economic situation, everybody's saying save money, all right? No matter how you do, save money. But the question is, do you actually need to save money? Why do you actually save?
Okay.
Because if you are saving to pay bills, that's not saving, that's storage. And the rich don't stop. The rich live on what they call the velocity of money. The money keeps moving. So they don't just save to pay bills, they save to create wealth.
Yes, so their money is working.
The money is working for them, but the poor, they save because they want to pay the next rent. Okay, now August is coming. They have saved from January to August to go and spend it in vacation. But the rich have created asset that pays for the vacation bill.
I love it. You know, I read this interview of Bill Gates.
Okay.
And one of the things he said was that he doesn't spend his money, he doesn't spend his capital. It's the interest he earns on his investment that he uses, but his capital is constantly working for him.
Exactly. So the thing is that, so when I see people say, oh, we are saving, we're opening a savings account, we are doing this, the question is, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it?
So why is it that the rich are saving to let their money work for them, but the poor are just paying bills?
I think it goes again to the culture that they're now installed on us when we are young. Okay. All right, they say, oh, they classify some things as high risk investments. Okay. All right, oh, give the bank your money, it's secured, it's this one. All of those things are, forgive my French, but are not real. Because the bank will take the same money to go and do stuff that is high risk as well. All right, so again, nobody actually took us to the process of telling us, okay, this is the reason why you need to save, this is the reason why you need to put your money aside. Let me give it, for instance, when I moved down to Lagos, all right, I moved to Lagos. I was staying with my brother, and I was doing this job, but there's no need for house rent, there's no need for transportation, because there's no need for food stuff. So my salary was complete for me to do whatever I want to do with it. All of a sudden, I just want to move out from my house. I want to live on my own. Now I need to pay bills, house rent. I need to get a car because I moved from Lekki to Aja. Okay. My office is still in Lekki. Okay. Then, so I saved to pay rent. So immediately I paid the rent, I was 750,000 naira poorer instantly. Then I want to buy a car. Then again, that's another 800 or 1 million naira going out of my pocket. Then something struck me. Why paying or buying these things when I can create assets that can solve my problem and I still have my money intact? And this is what the rich actually do every day. How can I live on assets and let assets pay my bills instead of me suffering or using what I called labor wages to pay my living expenses? Why don't assets pay for it? And that is what they don't teach us actually.
Okay, so one of the other things I wanted to talk about is, before we went on the show, we were talking about when Coach Larry Oshikoya posted this event this show on his Instagram, and someone answered and said, the reason why the rich are getting richer is because they are greedy and they are taking from the poor. So please, let's talk about this. Is it that the rich, because I'm rich in so is it that we are
you're robbing the poor?
Is it that we are greedy?
I think greed is allowed actually if you want to get rich actually, because there's what I call the good and the bad greed. It depends on what you're looking at. But again, it's not about, if it's all about that, the poor should get greedy and rob from the rich. All right, but that's not the problem. Three things. Number one, how does the rich invest and how does the poor invest? All right, the poor invest in what I call store up money in would-be assets, what I call acquisition. All right, because anything that doesn't give you constant income is an acquisition or to start generating income for you. So the poor do that acquisition, but the rich think of ask himself a simple question: how can I make consistent income from what I'm doing? I put something on my Instagram page this morning. I said $50,000 and $5,000 consistently every month. for the rest of your life. Which one will you prefer? And somebody says, oh, please, I need the other one now. And that's how they think. The rich think about, how can I make money from a particular thing consistently, at least for the next 10 years, for the next 15 years. It's all about consistent income. So the rich, for instance, will not go to Ibejuleke to go and buy a property there and leave it and wait until it appreciates. You think about, okay, how can I own the property, but again, have consistent income coming in every month? Do you understand? The rich will not think about, okay, how can I go to my village and build an edifice? Meanwhile, I go to the village once in a year. So how can't I build a hostel in the same state and have consistent income come to me every year?
So one of the things that I'm hearing from this discussion is definitely mindset.
It's a mindset thing,
mindset.
Actually.
So clearly, this lady that thinks that the rich are just stealing from the poor, I don't remember if it was a man or a woman that commented.
Is it a lady?
Imagine. I mean, that alone, if you are thinking that way, how are you ever going to move
get to that
forward?
And
this is not shaming, but we have to obviously face reality to be able to get a solution to our problem. You cannot think that like that. Nobody wants to rob from you. No.
Nobody's actually robbing from you.
They want to make wealth for themselves. So they're constantly thinking about how to solve problems. Let's talk about that.
Exactly. Again, somebody asked me a question I did launch an ask last Saturday, and one of the questions that the lady walked up to me and asked is, why is it that they find it difficult to hold money? I said, the problem is, what is taking the money from your hand? It's not the devil from the village. In fact, you are the devil. Look at the mirror, you are the monster. Exactly. I said, because the rich would live that situation now, not because he doesn't want to have it, but he's thinking about, how can I create more of it? How can I double it? How can I multiply?
I want us to talk about that because so I recently launched a platform, World of Finance, an online financial education platform. And one of the articles we wrote, so everyone, I'm sure most people on Instagram would have seen the whole debate on social media about Kylie Jenner, because I think Forbes had listed her as one of America's self-made billionaires, and everyone was like, well, she's not self-made. Some people said she was self-made. But anyway, whilst the world was debating, one of my contributors, Dr. Ola Brown, actually wrote an article on how to make $1 billion in Nigeria from one single product. And she used a company. She used Toleram, who are the makers and manufacturers of Indomie. Okay. And one of the points she raised in that article is that they are thinking about delayed gratification. They are thinking about long term, so they will make certain sacrifices for today. Exactly. Unfortunately, now when I say the poor, I'm not talking about necessarily just in terms of poor in cash, but poor in mentality and mindset. Because you can have a lot of cash, but you are really poor. But the poor think about instant satisfaction today. That's why there was this oh my gosh, I saw this a quote again, some French reporter that was countering what people were talking about, saying that it was Africans that won the French Cup, the World Cup, and then it was like, no, if they were in Africa, first of all, they'll be all blinged out, literally talking about how they would have spent all the money. Do you understand? But the thing is, we're thinking about, okay, how would I show them that I have arrived?
How would they know?
How would they Designer from top to look at the rich. Just look at the rich. Look at the people that God blesses with money. Look at Bill Gates. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. They're very, very, very simple in their outlook. It doesn't mean that they don't have expensive things.
It doesn't mean they don't want to have it.
But you know what? Some of them have made sacrifices. So some of the things you're seeing them enjoy today,
the sacrifice.
It's some of the seeds they've sown. I remember Dangote, I used to see him around. There's a popular social club not too far here in Ikoyi. And I used to see him not very long ago driving himself in an old SUV Land Cruiser. The richest man in Africa. And this was like 5-6 years ago. It doesn't mean he cannot buy the most expensive cars. But you know what? His money is working for him. Please.
I wish Nigerians can understand that vacation is not an asset for once. And I'm not saying don't go on vacation. I mean everybody needs rest. Yes. All right? But you need rest, and the question is, what is paying for that rest? Do you understand? What is paying for that rest? And when I say that, people think, Cornel, you're saying that because it's not because anything. I mean, when I came to Lagos, my salary was 128,000. I came from where I was earning times 4 of that money. But I wanted to come and learn stuff in Lagos. 124,000, from that money, from 128,000 naira, I was able to buy cars on the road. Because I told myself a simple question, what do I need a car for? All I need is from my house to the office and back home. Alright? So I got a car that's giving me 100,000 naira every month and was solving the same problem for me. And guess what? I multiplied that thing immediately. Because the simple question is, what can car deliver to me? Nothing. It's a depreciating asset.
It's a liability.
Alright? It's a liability. How can we sit down and look at everything you have and just say the simple truth for once? You are not building, no matter how much you earn, where you are living does not add to your net worth. There's difference between having a self-worth and a net worth.
Yeah.
And guess what?
What's the difference for listeners?
Your net worth is the totality of your assets. But the question is that net worth does not even pay bills. That's the problem about net worth. It doesn't, because your net worth can be 1 billion and you are cash broke. And that's the worst form of poverty I've ever seen. But again, the question is, in the process of building your net worth, again, create cash flow. Cash flows that comes into your hand. And there's several cash flow opportunities around us now. Food industry is one of them. There's a guy I'm coaching now. Guess what? I mean, this guy in 6 months have created 6 mama puts. 2 is in my street.
Mama puts, that's a restaurant.
This guy earns 120,000 naira for one. He doesn't cook, he doesn't go to the market, doesn't even know where. So in fact, if I ask him now where are the locations, he might find it difficult to locate it. But imagine 120,000 times 6. But the question is not that the rich has so much money to start with. That the rich makes maximum use of the little that they have a time to create the kind of life they want to live. So it's not abundance of how much you have.
Let's actually go. Let's talk about that, because so a lot of people, a lot of poor people, and let me use the word in terms of mindset, not just cash. They think that, you know what, I have this great idea, but you know what, I don't have the money to start. Oh, the reason why this person has money, the reason why this person has started this great business is because they had money. Maybe they had one godfather, maybe their father gave them, or they had one aristo. But you know, I don't have any money. How am I going to start my business? I have this great idea and they are waiting. Is that what are they supposed to wait? Will the money just come?
Money, see, is greed. When somebody say they have a good idea but I'm waiting for the money, you're just being greedy actually. Because why do you want to own the whole pie? Why do you want to own the entire pie? If you be disciplined enough to first of all put the idea on paper, nobody will invest in your ideas in your head. Put it in your paper first, document it, all right? Vet it, ask questions, analyze the ideas, make sure that it went through the different processes, all right, until it become a profitable business. Then the second thing is that, okay, how much? Some people that say they need money to invest in business don't even know how much they need. Sorry to say, but that's the simple truth.
Very true.
We need money. Okay, how much do you need? Why do you need the money? What's the money supposed to do for you? All right. If you break those things down, okay, who has this money that I need to pitch this idea to, and let the person own a portion of my business. It's as simple as that. All right. Let the person own a portion of my business, and that's what they're doing everywhere. Mark Zuckerberg, like you mentioned before, own only 18% of Facebook. 18%. But does that make him not to be the 60th, at least 50th richest man in the world? Only on 18%. If that guy went sit down and said, "Oh, I must own everything," maybe you might not have Facebook today. But it's about sitting down and say, "Okay, how much shares can I give up on this my idea? All right, how much can I give up?" And let people come into your idea. Let people bring the resources, bring the ideas, and help your ideas achieve.
I've also heard stories of people who maybe they said that they had an idea,
okay,
and they didn't actually implement it until 10 years later. That what they did, they started off with smaller projects and started building capital from those smaller projects, and then went and started doing the bigger idea when they had that money. So sometimes we have big ideas and they can be overwhelming, but sometimes it's always good to start small and break it down.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go on a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because when we get back, we'll still be talking about why the rich get richer and the poor poorer. Keep it locked on the Beats 99.9 FM.
See, one of the things that, I mean, if I'm the queen of starting small or the queen of starting with nothing, most of the big projects, and I've done some really big projects, I've toured the world with my book, most of the time, I have not had anything, a lot of the time. And you know, there's this analogy, because yes, you know, when it comes to fundraising, I can give you from a corporate angle or personal angle, but I like to talk in analogies because God speaks to me in analogies. And you know, to raise money, we have to look at like a seed.
Okay.
So I remember I asked God, I said, give me an analogy for raising funds. And he gave me the seed. And he said, I did some research on the seed. So the seed has three major parts. Three parts rather. A major part is called the endosperm. That's the food storage. So when you put a seed in the ground, the first thing it does, it feeds on its own internal food storage. When it feeds on its internal food storage, then it begins to attract nutrients from the soil, nutrients, water. Then eventually it begins to grow over ground, and then it attracts sunlight. That's exactly how you fund a project or a business. The first thing is, before you even think about money, what is your value proposition? See, money is not paper currency.
Exactly.
Money is not paper currency, and I can give you history to make you understand why money is not paper currency. Money is value. Before we had paper currency, it was about how much value you create and you exchange value.
Exactly.
So money is value. When you understand that money is value and not paper currency, you will never be affected by recession or any stock market, stock market changes. So what happens is you create the value. When you create value, there's money will flow to you because there are people that are looking for that value, regardless of what it is. I have seen people make money from the smallest things or there was a lady. There's a lady. All she started doing was she had a 2-year-old. Rather, when her child was a baby, her child is about 2 or 3 now. Muna and Luchi. She started taking care of her, learning how to take care of her daughter's hair, natural hair. Her daughter's hair is so beautiful that you know what? People all over the world, she said she launched an online course on taking care of natural hair. She got people all over the world. It was sold out. The first time she launched it, she made $1,000.
Wow.
And guess what? There was a Caucasian lady who had just adopted a black child who was so thankful that she set up this thing because then she didn't know how to take care of the black child's hair. So that thing that you think is nothing will bring you money. You know, create that value. When you create value, then begin to think, what have you saved? Look, I will not invest in you if you don't have skin in the game.
Exactly.
What have you saved?
Exactly.
No matter how small it is. Then the next thing is, begin to attract from the nutrients like the soil, your network, family and friends. If you do not have family and friends that can support you, whether it's in kind, whether it's in cash, whatever it is, or their assets, then please, you need to change your network. And eventually, as you begin to grow, you will see that. I can tell you there's so many entrepreneurs I work with. One of them, Prince Ivo, he started this online printing company. Silicon Valley, they came to look for him. He didn't go and look for money. There are so many companies like that. I remember I went for a pitch once. I met this Caucasian guy from California. And I asked, we got talking, and he said, California is far. It is far. I went last, it's like, how many hours? He came all the way. He was looking for agri-businesses to invest in Nigeria. There's plenty money, and there are people that are looking for the money to give you. But you know what? You must start with what you have.
Yeah. Actually, I agree with you. I agree with you.
So let's talk about this thing called debt, because a lot of poor people are in debt. Now, a lot of rich people too are in debt, but they're in a different kind of debt. So you look at a Dangote. Dangote is in millions of debt. But he sleeps well because you know what? His debt is in businesses and companies that are generating income, because there's a difference between good debt and bad debt. And most times, some of those companies are ring-fenced in an SPV. So if the company goes down, it doesn't affect him. But the poor are in debt. They are in debt in Ashwebi, going on vacation,
salary advance, car loan.
Please, what is the what is the difference between good debt and bad debt?
I think you have said it all actually. See, borrowing to consume is the highest level of foolishness financially. Actually, borrowing to consume, no matter how small or how big your salary is, but as far as you are borrowing to consume, is actually foolish. All right. like you said, the businessmen are in debt in the business, so the business can go bankrupt, but the person is okay, it's fine. That's why, for instance, he can sue the business and the guy is still traveling around and doing everything, because I mean, he's not the one owing you, it's a business. It's business that if business go bad, the business that go bad. All right. So for me, if you need to borrow, as I'm talking now that people are earning between 50,000 and 100,000, if you must borrow, make sure that it's things that have to do with income generating assets. All right, you're borrowing to invest in a business,
improve your education so you can earn more.
Exactly, you're borrowing to go on to do a course. You know, but you're borrowing to enhance your income generating activities, not that you're borrowing to look good. Because nobody cares what how you look. I was sharing with them the other day. I said that it's only a lady and some ladies that know the value and the difference between a fake hair and the original one. We guys, most of us don't know. Seriously, we don't know.
Because the guys are oblivious.
So all those borrowing to buy weave on, and you're hitting it in the public, we don't know the value. All right. So why don't you, if you're borrowing to start a weave on line or online weave on shop, fantastic, do it. By all means, I will support that. But borrowing to consume is not right. Actually, it will leave you only one place: confused, depressed. And again, the worst that happens is that you see so many people committing suicide only because of money issues.
That's crazy.
It's because of money issues. And guess what? Some of those things that are committing those things, if you sit down with them and find out, the root cause, they don't have any reason to be in that level of debt. No reason entirely, because the salary is good enough. You just discipline to say, okay, this is what I want now, and this is what I can't afford.
Whilst there's always this term about people keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
But now I think it's keeping up with the Kardashians. So while the world was keeping up with the Kardashians or Kylie Jenner was making money, so they were gossiping about her.
What are we talking about?
Trying to look like her. Meanwhile, she was making money off everyone, and she made $900 million. And you can even imagine, instead of people to start thinking of how they can even make their own. So I saw that some people had set up a fund on how to get her to 1 billion. So they started donating money. I mean, hello, why don't you donate it to yourself? What is wrong with our generation? What is really wrong with our generation? We need to stop. Unfortunately for us as well, with social media, you are looking and comparing yourselves with people you do not know. Half of the things the Kardashians are wearing, they don't pay for it.
They don't pay for it, exactly.
People give it to them, they do not pay for it.
You're even going far to the Kardashians. What about our so-called social influencers in Nigeria? Most of them don't pay for what they're wearing.
Don't pay for the clothes I wear, please.
Exactly.
They're trying to keep up
and
with
somebody
me.
is trying, and somebody is trying to be like you, and somebody is trying to talk like you. But again, you're just living your life, and people are trying. Okay. The other flip of debt that I see now that is very rampant is what they call ususu, ajo. I mean, we need to understand that. We need to understand how that thing works, because I mean, so many people that do that. Okay, imagine you starve yourself every month, or to get a particular month to do what with it. You now rush to go and buy a car or buy holiday. Exactly. Ajo is not. If you read the history of that thing, the people that started Ajo in the olden days, they started it because they want to create. So when they give you your own, you create something immediately, all right, with that. So that thing started giving you a return. So you come back after 1 year and say, this is what my Ajo have done for me. It's not okay, this is why I spend this. Ajo is not meant to pay bills. Ajo is meant to create something for you. So for instance, they give you Ajo. It might be okay. Say it's 500,000. Okay, 100,000 goes to this one. Maybe treasury bills here. 100,000 goes to I'm buying a part of this business. 100,000 goes to this one. But again, at the end of the day, you must reproduce and multiply your sweat. That is when your job begins to make sense. If not, it's a waste of time and energy.
And just because I know that a lot of people are in debt. Various kinds of debt. So I'm actually starting on the 12th of August a debt-free challenge. So this is the first place I'm announcing it. Hashtag debt-free challenge, where we're going to, the whole point is that we're working on 10 steps to being debt-free in 2018, because you cannot create wealth if you are in debt. Being in debt is like going on a long journey with carrying heavy load. You might get there or you might not get there. And even if you get there, you won't get there at the required time. So we're going on a debt-free challenge. I'll leave my details later so you can follow, so you can be part of this debt-free challenge. We need to be debt-free so that we can begin to create wealth. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about is, we've said all these nice things, you know. But I'm a wealth coach now. I call myself a wealth connoisseur. I speak about these things. But you know what? There was a time that I worked in some of the biggest investment banking institutions that used to create products to help people create wealth. But you know what? I didn't create wealth for myself. In fact, the reason why we would even want to sell the product is just so that we won't get in trouble with HR. Or so that we won't...
meet your target.
You meet your target. Do you understand? To keep your job. Not even because... Can you imagine? And you have people there working and you're selling products and you're not... So it's not even a function of whether you don't have cash or whether you're living in Ajegule or wherever it is. There are people that are working in some of the biggest companies that have poor mindsets. Why is this?
You know, I mean, poverty, they no longer live in slums and ghettos. Poverty lives in Ikoyi now, in VGC, in Lekki, drive good cars, smells good, you know, travel 3 times a year, you know, and eat in the best of restaurants. That's the first century poverty now. You know, that's also beat my imagination as well. When I see bankers who have been in the banking industry for over 15 years, but there's nothing to show for it apart from the new car that they drive, and shake your hand, their hand is soft and it's cold. That's all they can. That's all they
and if they lose their job,
and they lose their job, that's the end of it. All right, because they have not sit down to ask themselves a simple question: why am I here? All right, there's something I teach. I call you understanding the pie model of your salary. If you understand that, you find out that your income is not meant to be spent on living expenses, but to create more passive income than fund your living expenses. All right, until you understand how that will work and be able to discipline yourself to live on 60% of what you earn, not on 100%, because the 40% need to get you out of that employment system. All right, and to create what I call a go-to-hell account. Until that is, to understand the system and the how that thing works. You can't. Okay, imagine somebody working in mortgage bank and doesn't have a single home. Or a single land, but he had been in mortgage bank for over 20 years. All he has to show for it is that his ID card and a big car. Nothing. Because that person have not understand the purpose why he's where he is. So for me is, first of all, sit yourself down and ask yourself a simple question: if you drop dead today, who will suffer? If you lose your job today, yourself and answer to yourself alone. If something happened, if your organization offer you a 20% pay cut, will you take it? If the answer is yes, why don't you assume that 20% pay cut has happened and consciously take it off your salary automatically? Let it go to somewhere where it can generate income for you. And in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years, you'll be amazed what that 20% have generated. I have never seen investment and business opportunities ever created in Nigeria like this year. There's a whole lot of opportunities this year, you know, that we can take advantage of.
It's amazing because I was going through Instagram the other day, and in 2015 I posted something. Was it 2016? I said by 2020 we'll have 16,000 new millionaires.
Okay.
In dollars. That's just 2 years, and this was research that was done. I was talking about Nigeria. That's just 2 more years. Now the thing is, if you look at America, some of the greatest billionaires that are still making money today, even though they are dead, e.g. Henry J. Parsons of Quaker Oats, they made their money during the Great Depression.
Exactly.
They saw they saw an opportunity and they cashed in. So when there was a recession, even though we have come out of recession and we're still struggling economically, really? There are so many opportunities. When I came back from Paris last month, my goodness, you should have seen the queue of foreigners coming to Nigeria. It was so much. The whole, the line, the immigration line, it was packed with people. Why are they leaving their comfort zone?
To come.
With their countries that everything is working.
Why are they coming?
To come here. They have seen that there are opportunities. We keep talking on Instagram, on social media. We're blaming government. There are so many problems. This is not happening. Well, if there are problems, that means there are solutions that you can use or create to solve those problems.
I agree.
And you can make money. Why is
so much money,
the biggest?
So much money.
You know what? He's solving so many problems. He's looking at all the problems that we have, and he's solving them. We're talking. Let's start solving problems. There's so many problems in Nigeria to solve, and we can solve it. We don't have to wait for government to do it. We don't have to wait for the older generation. We are the generation that will make the change. We need to believe in ourselves. If the older people do not believe in ourselves and say, "What, our youths are lazy," we believe in ourselves. We are not lazy. We are hardworking. We are our own local governments.
Yep.
We provide our own lights, our own security, our own healthcare most of the time.
Sometimes actually is sitting down to ask yourself, okay, what kind of financial future do you want to build in yourself? All right, what kind of world do you want to build? I have a vision. I thought I want to own 1,000 business and give me 100,000 naira every month.
Amen. Hallelujah.
I've seen it work. I've seen it work.
Yeah.
I've seen it work. Just that business that can give you 100,000 naira. Like you don't need to you don't need to borrow to start. Just a coin. I call it coin investments. Dangote, how much is the most expensive product Dangote has? He makes money from 5 naira, from 10 naira. You buy sugar, you buy sugar 20 naira. Dangote makes money. You buy salt, he makes money. Spaghetti, all those are small investments. Small.
He's looking at the bottom of the pyramid.
There are so much products on that bottom. But again, you need to be disciplined enough, ask questions, and do the work. But like I said, 2018, 2019, there's a lot of opportunities for anybody that wants to get out of poverty.
You know, and as we round up, because of time, one of the things that that has come out, I think the summary of all our discussions is the fact that the reason why you can talk with so much intelligence and so much knowledge, and the reason why I can talk as well, is because we have financial education.
Yeah.
We're financially literate. And you're not born with this thing.
No.
You're supposed to learn.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when we go to schools, we are learning 1 + 1 maths, but you know, money is what we spend, and that is what we are supposed to be taught and educated. And so this is why I set up this online financial education platform called World of Finance. And the web is www.wofin.org. That's www.wofin.org. And the idea is to ensure that we reduce the financial literacy gap, so that we can ensure that financial inclusion is reduced and we create wealth. So we're reducing poverty. So we find that people like me that worked in banks but did not understand how to manage my finances. There are people that also have not worked in banks, they're just starting out. There are people that are wealthy regardless of whatever part of the spectrum you fall. You can come onto that platform and learn how to make money. It's not just enough to know how to make money, how to manage your money, how to grow your money, and even how to use your money. And so we have amazing contributors. Cornell, you're one of our male contributors. Yay! You know, we're putting out stuff there, and there's going to be products, courses. Like I said, we're doing the debt free challenge. So please, you must be a part of this thing. Now, there's no excuse again. Oh, I don't have money to go and pay big money with, you know. No, come and learn. And then if you need one-on-one help as well, we have coaches. There's Cornell. There's so many people that can help you one-on-one as well. But so please log on to the platform every day so that you can become financially literate, so that you can know that even with 5,000 you can invest in a mutual fund and start making money and start earning dividends. Even with nothing, you can start a business so you can grow your wealth. It's very important, and so that we can understand that it's not that the rich are getting richer because they are greedy. They just know something. They have information.
Yep.
And that information is readily available for you. Now, are you going to be the poor getting poorer? Are you going to be the poor getting richer or the rich getting richer? That is up to you. So you can follow Cornell on
Instagram, everywhere, or just Cornel Agwu, CORNELAGW.
Okay,
All the platforms.
And you can follow me, Omilola Oshikoya. That's Oshikoya with an H. Omilola Oshikoya on Instagram, Twitter, Omilola, and then follow the World of Finance platform. On Instagram is WOFIN_org. On Twitter, WOFIN.org. On Facebook, WOFIN.org. And the web platform again is www.wofin.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Omilola and Cornell. It was incredible to have you on the show today. In case you're just tuning in and you have missed it, don't worry, because Be All You Can Be will be back next week, Saturday at 9:30. So set your alarm and make sure you listen. You have no excuses right now. Anyway, we're going back to the music, and since we were talking about money, the next song is called Dirty Sexy Money. It's by David Guetta, Afrojack, Charlie XCX, and French Montana. Keep it locked on the Beats 99.9 FM.